All right, welcome back to Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5, presented as always by John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm. It's daspitlaw.com, 713. Call now. By the way, our t-shirts are available, lamontbrands.com. You get the t-shirts there, all different colors, including we have two shades of green for Austin, which is appropriate for our next interview. But all the proceeds go to the 501c charity, the Snowdrop Foundation for Pediatric Cancer. With that, we bring on someone that's been a frequent guest, and he's one of the top goalkeepers in all of Major League Soccer. He is Brad Stuver. He joins us now. Brad, thanks for coming on as always. It's been a while.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Always a pleasure, and it's a good week to have you back since it's a bit of a rivalry week in Major League Soccer. So first off, does this one have a little bit more of a special feel, or do I get the professional answer? They all mean the same.
No, this one always feels a little bit different. The in-state rivalries always feel a little bit different, especially when you're going away from home, knowing that you're going to go up against the away fans. So we've already played Dallas once, so getting this next one against Houston will have a little extra bite to it, I'm sure.
Caught your game in St. Louis. St. Louis, obviously a difficult team to play against, a high pressing team, a lot of energy. They make you run. Um, Looking at the Houston Dynamo and the road, and I know there was a lot of talk about execution in the final third and things and chance creation and all this. But what's different about the road? Because we always come up with the theories of why the road is different, why it's more difficult. Is there anything to that, or?
Yeah, I mean, when you look historically at this league and you look at around the world, just going away from home is always a little bit more difficult. Obviously, you don't have your same routine when you have it at home. You don't have your fans. You're not as acclimated to the stadium. There's all these little things that just kind of play into it. But especially when you go away from home and you have atmospheres like St. Louis and as of late, Houston has been packing the stadium with fans when we go and play them. It gives a little bit of an extra boost, and that's why we love playing at Q2 in front of our fans. They are almost like the 12th player on the field, so that always gives just a little bit extra advantage to the home team.
Brad Stuver, goalkeeper for Austin, Texas. I saw something recently where you spoke about privilege playing in front of those fans. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because I thought that was something special.
Yeah, this league has grown so much over the course of my career. And obviously, as a player, we have the privilege to kind of live out a childhood dream. We get to play soccer every day. And the reason we get to do that is because fans show up to watch us, to support us, and they give us the ability to kind of play the sport that we love and the sport that we have trained extremely hard for over the course of our lifetime to be able to compete at the highest level. So, um, we're just thankful that, especially here in Austin, the community has kind of rallied behind us over the last 3 plus this season, and they've embraced us as part of the community, and they show up rain or shine, they show up win or loss, and we know that no matter what, they're going to have our backs. So it's an immense privilege to put on that jersey and represent this city, and we couldn't be more grateful to be able to do what we do.
So there is a romance when a new team comes in a market. I get the sense the romance is changing into a more mature team fan relationship where now healthy criticism comes into it. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I think that's part of sports, right? No matter where you are, the the expectation is that you win, that you compete for trophies, that at the end of the year that you're in the playoff hunt. And obviously, as an expansion team, you move from a new team that's building something from the ground up to a team that wants to solidify what they look like going forward, right? I think right now, Austin and Austin FC, we're in a phase right now where we want to get out of kind of that new team stigma, and we want to kind of stake our claim as a regular competitor in this league. And to do that, we have to compete at a high level. We have to win games. We have to make the playoffs, and that comes with time. Obviously, you have to do things consistently. Like in 2022, we made the Western Conference Final, which is amazing. But in order for a team to be considered a great team, you have to do that year in, year out. When you look at a team like Seattle, when you look at a team like LAFC, they're doing it year in, year out. They're making playoffs almost every year. They're making deep runs in the playoffs. So for us, our goal is making the playoffs this year and kind of putting that into our sights and making sure that we can kind of start this year the trend of us being a playoff team going forward.
Brad Stuver joining us here on ESPN 97.5, presented by the Daspit Law Firm Soccer Matters. Remarkable career, played college soccer at Cleveland State, was a pool goalkeeper in MLS for many, many years before really making his mark in Austin. I a lot of times relate your situation to Tim Melia in sporting, which I'm sure you have as well. Um, that's a story of perseverance, though. Yes, goalkeepers can play a little longer in their careers, maybe. That's something you could debate and talk about. But to stick in there and constantly be training like a first team player and waiting for opportunity, I mean, this is an exercise in patience, right?
Yeah, goalkeeper's a difficult position because you don't get to sub in late in games. As a field player, you can be on the bench and you'll get minutes here and there to kind of showcase what you're capable of doing. For goalkeepers, normally one plays, and the backup really only gets kind of cup games or when the starting goalkeeper is rotating out due to national team call ups or injury. So for me, it was just kind of biding my time and finding the right situation that was going to fit me and help me move forward in my career. And obviously, I was very excited about the opportunity to come to Austin and compete to be the number one. And it's not something that I ever want to let go. So holding myself to a standard where I can continue to be the starting goalkeeper here and kind of push myself and push my team to be the best that we can be. Honestly, it's a dream come true. And after so many years of being a backup, it's not something I'm going to take for granted.
Brad, how important is the relationship with your goalkeeper coach, and working with someone like that on a daily basis in your career?
It's extremely important, and I've been extremely lucky throughout my career. I've had amazing goalkeeper coaches all the way back to my college goalkeeper coach, Denny Chorney. When I was in Columbus, it was Pat Onstead, who helped me kind of grow as a professional. I had him at the right time, the time that I needed him. He kind of molded me and showed me what it meant to be a professional athlete, what it took to be a professional athlete at this level. Going to New York City, having Rob Bartusian kind of was at a time where I wanted to transition from being a backup to being a starter, and he was kind of the one that took me on and treated me like a number one, even though I was behind Sean Johnson. And now with Preston Burpo here at Austin FC, we have a really good relationship. He's pushed me outside of my comfort zone at times to try and get me to improve in areas that I needed to improve in, and honestly, I've just been very fortunate in the relationships and the goalkeeper coaches that I've had.
Brad Stuver joining us here on ESPN 97.5. Is it possible, like in any career, to overthink it also? Like you're
Yeah,
getting so much instruction, you're being told about angles and distribution. Is it possible to maybe just overthink it?
yeah. There are times when you can find yourself going deep into a hole of overthinking mistakes, overthinking good things. But I've been around so long now that it's kind of easy for me to kind of disassociate myself from some of these things. And obviously, the game has shifted a lot to analyzing situations, tactics, and you have stats at the ready about any and everything. So for me, it's just about keeping in perspective and knowing that your training is going to come out in the game, and no matter what happens, whether it's good or bad, that you have to go back into the training ground and just kind of stay focused and get right back out there and do the same thing that you've been doing your entire career.
I would think through your lens and the length of your career now in your early 30s that the position has changed, additional responsibilities with simply, let's just go to the buildup out of the back.
Yeah, I think my first year in the league, well, my second year in the league in Columbus, Greg Berhalter kind of came in, and he was kind of the first real coach in our league that took playing out of the back to a whole new level. Obviously, Steve Clark, goalkeeper for Houston now, came in and was the first goalkeeper that was doing those types of thing. And then all of a sudden, more and more teams started doing it. More and more goalkeepers started learning how to do it. And the goalkeeping position in general has just changed so much from purely just a shot stopping player on the field to kind of being, you have to be a great shot stopper. You have to be good playing out of the back. You have to deal with a lot more crosses coming into the box. A lot of times, the teams, you have to be almost like a sweeper keeper at times, covering the back line with the amount of balls being played over the top. And that's a testament to just uh, how quick the game is evolving, how good players are becoming, and you just see this shift and more and more responsibility on the goalkeeper. And it's been a fun transition, but it's definitely something where we're all trying to evolve and get better every day. And every year, there's going to be something else that we need to focus on.
How about some thoughts on the Houston Dynamo? Obviously, they emerged quite a bit last year with a big roster turnover, and Hector Herrera having. I kind of liken Hector Herrera's season to the season Sebastian Driussi had in 2022. Either of these guys could have been MVP in my mind. Maybe just some thoughts on the Dynamo.
Yeah, they're a good team. We've always had good games against them. We've had results go both ways. We know that they're a team that enjoys possession. They're one of the highest possessing teams in the league. When you talk about build out of the back, Steve's one of the top goalkeepers playing out of the back in this league. So we know that it's going to be a tough environment to come into and play, but we just have to trust in ourselves and know that we've gotten a result in Houston before a couple years ago, and we just need to believe in ourselves, believe in the system that we play in, and come in ready because we know this rivalry game is going to be a rivalry. It's one of those things where you can't really describe it unless you're a part of it. So we'll be up for the fight, but we know that they're gonna pose some significant challenges.
So we always hear the term goalkeepers union. I mean, do you talk with a lot of the other goalkeepers in the league, or do you kind of keep your distance? How does that all work? Because you guys do play a really unique position, which in itself is very cool.
Yeah, we have. I feel like we have good relationships throughout the league with other goalkeepers. I'm not texting with all of them throughout the week. There's not like a goalkeeper union text thread that everybody's kind of texting every week. But before games, after games, just kind of chatting, catching up. It's such a unique position where we're training with each other for so long and only one has to play that there's just these relationships that you build that are different than any other field player. So it's always nice catching up with guys that you've trained with, other guys that you've learned to get to know over the years, just playing against each other. So it'll be good to see Steve once again. He's having a good year. He had another good year last year. So always good to see a guy that I trained with and so many years ago, still doing his thing, still playing well. So happy to catch up with him after the game.
He's one of the best in Major League Soccer. He's Brad Stuver, goalkeeper for Austin FC. Austin FC in town this weekend to take on the Houston Dynamo rivalry match here in Major League Soccer. Without naming names, is there a specific goalkeeper you like beating on a given day more than any other? No names.
No, I don't think there's any specific one. I don't have any like ill will toward any of them, but I'm trying to think of like friends of mine that if I go up against them, obviously like give them a hard time. I'll probably say Sean Johnson. We had a really good relationship in New York City, and so whenever I go up against him, I just want to make sure that I can give him a hard time. Same with the field players that I've become close with. I can't ever give up goals to the players that I've played with. Otherwise, I'm gonna hear it for the rest of the year. But yeah.
Transition game in Major League Soccer. Pretty much every team has somebody who's a vertical threat somewhere, right? Just the awareness that you have to have now and playing as a covering player and the transition game. I mean, we saw the Dynamo with limited shots in their last game, but the transitional moment, a guy gets one-on-one, he gets isolated. Kovalchuk hits a game winner. How much has that come into play now in Major League Soccer? Do you think the transition game has accelerated in the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's definitely become more prevalent, and it's something that we talk about often. I think that's one aspect of the game that is very difficult, especially with teams that prioritize the ball and throw a lot of number forward. You leave yourself in a spot where you really have to be conscious about transition to defend. And you see a lot of these games in Major League Soccer and elsewhere around the world. All it takes is one transition opportunity to give up a goal, and that will change the entire dynamic of the game. So it's something that we talk about often, and it's something that we have put a lot of work in this year to try and limit and take away from other teams, because we know if we can limit those transitions and limit those chances, we have a better chance at putting ourselves in a position to win the game.
Brad, how much of this season hinges on a player with the vision and the decision making of Sebastian Driussi? And that's, I'm framing this in the context of such an important piece, much like a Hector Herrera is to the Houston Dynamo.
Seb's a special player, but I'm not going to put uh, our success all on him. It's on the rest of the team. It's on the rest of us to make sure that we're doing our jobs to a level that Seba can kind of accentuate his skill. So it's our job to kind of elevate him. It's not his job to elevate us. When the rest of the players are playing to the best of their ability, it really helps Seba get to the level that we know that he can be at. So I think for all of us, we're doing our best to make sure that Seba's in the right spot mentally, physically, emotionally, and we're in order to do that, we all have to be on top of our game. And obviously, we want that for ourselves. We want to be the ones playing at the top level. And we know when we can do that, we know that Seba will come up with a couple of special plays that will put us in a position. And yeah, we're just doing our best to help him be the best version of himself.
Brad, as always, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck in Houston. I know the Austin fans, they travel well, so you'll see some green up there, I'm sure.
Yep.
I think everybody down here is excited for the game, much like everybody in Austin. Thanks as always for coming on and giving me your time.
Yep. Thanks again. See you this weekend.
All right. That's the one and only Brad Stuver in goal. You'll see him this weekend against the Houston Dynamo, one of the best in Major League Soccer. We take a break here. We remind you, you got Brazil, Mexico, and College Station coming up. You've got Copa America with Mexico and Jamaica, a great one with Colombia and Paraguay. And then you got the knockout stage game, which if Argentina wins, it could be them. And then you got Inter Miami and Tigres. All of these matches coming through Houston. Lone Star Sports and Entertainment. Go to lsse.net to get your tickets.